Hello, my name is Tony Chin-Quee,
And I'm Frances May Harden.
and welcome to Social Rounds, the podcast in which two of the happiest surgeon dropouts you'll ever meet give our unsolicited opinions on the states of medicine, the world at large, pop culture, and whatever else we happen to find interesting.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Frances May, welcome to episode 21. How does it feel?
It does feel like time is passing me by a little bit. That's crazy.
Yeah,
But
yeah, it feels
congratulations to
like
us.
yeah, we finally got to legal podcasting age. It feels pretty special. I'm just happy to be podcasting right now and not watching um, cartoons. Nothing against cartoons, but we've been watching a lot of Bluey in my house. Are you familiar with Bluey?
I am from the memes.
Okay, my daughter's like old enough to watch it now. It's basically like, okay, so for the uninitiated, Bluey is this cartoon about this Australian family of dogs and it's delightful because it's not like, oh, like teaching lessons all the time. It's just like life as a kid plus life as a parent. And it's very much written not like winking at parenthood, but like actively like, engaging with it through
Whoa.
like the adult dogs. Like they talk about like their parenting challenges all while the kids are like playing make-believe games and like they're doing all the stuff with their kids. And so it's actually like really dope. Like each episode's like 8 minutes long and just like I'll like most of the time I'm like trying to like watch, multiple children run around the house, but sometimes I'll tune in and just like random episodes of Bluey will just have you as an adult weeping at the end of them. These are 8 minutes long and they manage to like tap in to some real, feelings that you haven't been able to express about this whole parenting experience. Um, through these Australian dogs. And it's like this wonder of a television show. I'm just so glad it exists.
That's awesome. It's so funny because I was just reading The Tipping Point by Malcolm Gladwell last week, and
Mhm.
they have a full chapter on Sesame Street, Blue's Clues, kind of the advent of this type of children's show, and all the A/B testing that they did, the rigors that like every single storyline went through in front of groups of kids. Like, how long do they stay
Mm.
engaged before they look away? And then, even to your point, this thing that was like, can we put anything in, work something in that is relevant or interesting to the adults so it isn't purely just a kids show? So it
Yeah.
was cool to see like the making of those two over the years that he kind of compares, which obviously they're the predecessors to maybe the perfect media and marketing machine that Bluey is now.
Mhm. Yeah, no, it's brilliant, and yeah, I just respect when kid stuff is done super well. Like I'm like that guy who like loves to go watch Pixar movies by myself in the movie theater. Like I used to do that during residency. I used to like go to a movie theater and kind of get a little drunk because our movie theaters had booze and just sit next to like a family and just like be watching like Monsters Inc. or whatever it was and just like laughing my ass off and just like turning to like the 8-year-old next to me and just like, you believe that shit? But like, so I love kid stuff when it's done well. And Bluey is one of those things. So, that's it's one of those things that like I will even though I'm inundated with it all day long, I will watch when I'm by myself and find, hilarity and meaning there. So some people have their like, cat videos and whatever, you can watch Bluey too. You won't regret it. Even if you don't have kids, like it's just really smart and really enjoyable. That's my delightful thing for this week. But we're here to talk not about Bluey, sadly, but we're here to talk about life. We're here to talk about this medical life. So we're jumping right into segment number one, which is, of course, social rounds. So this is where we become your life attendings because it's become abundantly clear that many of you out there are in desperate need of guidance, and we've got the kind of wisdom that only comes from running out of fucks. And this week's question is, what's on your feet? Okay? The answer to this question, honestly, can make or break your body if you're in the medical field, right? Because we're on our feet. We're one of those professions where we're on our feet for hours and hours every single day for years, especially during residency time. And this, when you're in residency and training, this is usually a time when our bodies are generally on the younger end. and have not been ravaged by time and despair. So you may not be putting a lot of thought into your footwear. But Francis May and I, we are old and we are decrepit. And it's mostly because of poor decisions that we made early in our careers. So we're here to tell you to take care of your feet and your body right now. So I think we should just like tell people what actually works and what doesn't work. Okay? Like let's talk footwear. We could also talk, clothing, we could talk posture, you know what I mean? But let's start with the shoes that everyone tells you to get. I don't know if they still all tell you to get. They must. They tell you to get the Dansk, right? If you're going to be on the boards, they're like the heeled, kind of comfortable. You slip your feet in, it adds like an inch and a half, 2 inches to your height. They're easy to get on, get off. And that's what I was told to wear when I was in residency, just on wards. Did they tell you that same thing, Francis May?
Well, I need to back up a little bit to just call out that I am 34. I am feeling the pressures of aging as a woman in this modern society, and having Tony call my body ravaged by time
Yeah.
and despair,
Woohoo. Yes.
that one hurt today.
I
That
mean, is it
that's
because because we know it's true at this point? I mean, I felt this way for about 10 years now.
I'm fighting it. You're 10 years older than me. I'm putting up the last of my willpower to fight this. I agree with all your points about the importance of, like quality, footwear, comfortable clothing, posture, all of this. So with Danskos, I agree, when we trained, they told all of us to get it. I'm a Dansko hater. I have worn them and they hurt. They were, I mean,
Mm.
all around for me, very bad shoe. I also don't need to be 2 inches taller. That would actually worsen my ergonomics and posture in the OR because the beds are already too low. And I guess for me, another thing I hated about them is how hard they are. Like, literally,
They
they aren't
are
a soft
unforgiving.
shoe.
Like, yeah, they're not a soft shoe. They have no ankle support.
Yes, I've rolled my ankles
In
too. Yeah, so
Yeah, like if you're like
exactly.
that's the thing, you can't you guys like see on those TV shows where like doctors are running through the hallways. Like, first of all, like you don't run through a hospital. Like no one's really doing that. Even when there's a code, you're like, hustling, but you're not running.
Actually, for
Like
sure.
your ankles are very much exposed, plus you're higher up off the ground. Um so it's not built for it, but we are in a world of mostly non 6 foot, you know, professionals. Like there's a lot of short
Right,
dudes
so
in
they
our
they want
in our
yeah,
world.
and they want the lift maybe to
They want a way
see
to
the
get some
OR
lift.
table, and
Hmm.
but also just to physically see better when they're, like, retracting if you're, like, the third ranking person there. In terms of my shoe journey, I remember it exactly, which is that, again, Danskos, fine, tried it for 2 days, absolutely despised them, never touched them again. I mostly wore Birkenstocks, like the regular back open style clog. Those do mold to your foot shape, and again, like, I'm a size 12 women's shoe. So, and
Grown
like
ass
they're
foot.
wide
Yep.
feet. They also
Uh-huh.
medically classify, fashion wise, classify as a W. So, like the
Yeah.
Birkenstock molds to your foot, and they definitely again can't run in them. But I would just trudge sadly around the hospital, and you could probably hear me in my clogs like just trudging along. And so
Yeah, the
I
clip
did that.
clop. Mm.
Yeah, the sad, yeah. It was a depressing picture, but they didn't hurt my feet, and they were fine. So those served me for many years. But I actually then for the last 3 years of residency, I converted 100% over to APLs. APL sneakers you don't have to tie the shoelaces, and they're ultra soft. So they're the softest sneaker I own, no tying involved, they're slip-ons. They look cute for slip-ons, but I will
Mhm.
say as a minus that they don't have the best ever cushion padding. Like it does at times feel like almost a naked shoe, like you can feel the ground under you. But obviously I'm
Mm.
not describing that I was hiking in them. I don't hike, so I was just walking around the hospital. They were very comfy for me there. In more recent years, I've used Hoka's because they do have the additional cushioning, and I've tried Cloves as well, but that's really been more since I've been out of the hospital. But like the Hoka's, they are kind of ugly, and you have to tie your shoelaces, which for me as a resident, you'll notice I never tied shoelaces. I went from Birkenstocks into APLs because I do think that having to bend over and tie shoes every day would have been the thing to push me over the edge,
That
and
would have
I
been the
couldn't
last
have done
straw.
it.
You
Yeah,
could not
I
do you've done
really
it every
yeah.
day of your life until then, but once you're in residency, slip on or Velcro,
Yeah, I was obviously
and
not
you
in the
weren't ready
mental
for
state
Velcros
for
yet.
it
Uh-huh.
in residency. Yeah, hadn't completely given up on life, so I wasn't doing Velcro shoes. Exactly. So, that was my shoe journey. What
That's
about
good.
you?
I think you were very proactive. I got my first pair of Danskos when I was in med school. Um, and I just broke them in. They told me I'd have to break them in, so I broke them, and it took a while. But then eventually, the hard leather does mold around your feet the longer you just force them in there, and then I just used the same shoes. It was disgusting, but I had the
The
same
whole
shoes
time?
the whole time.
No.
Yes, the whole 5 years, bro.
No.
6. Because it was just like, "What, I'm gonna break in another fucking pair of these? Like, what am I can't do that again." Um and that's the thing, they weren't good shoes, it's just what I got used to, but the problem is, when you have bad shoes, like, the effects of having bad shoes, they creep up your body, okay? Like, it'll affect your knees, it'll affect your hips, it'll affect your lower back, all that sort of stuff if you're not in shoes that are really supporting you in the right way, right? So, I came out of residency, combination of bad shoes, combination of trying to keep up good posture, but bad posture in the OR and all that stuff, and just standing and realizing I never taught myself to stand the right way for long periods of time, right? And so, like, I came out with like lower back pain that
Yeah.
has never gone away, only gotten worse as I've gotten older. It sucks. And I think, these good things that could have been tweaked and paid attention to when I was younger. What I've discovered, as I've gotten better, like you gave some great brand recommendations, whatever works for you, get a comfortable walking shoe. Like I've come to really like the Brooks shoes. Like the Brooks Brothers sneaker side. I've always found those really comfortable, especially because I go on long walks now. Um,
Oh, you're not talking about the Brooks running shoe? You're talking about Brooks Brothers
Oh,
shoes?
no, no, I'm talking about the Brooks running shoe.
Oh, okay. So
They
not
are
Brooks
related to
Brothers.
Brooks Brothers, the company, right? Like, that's where it comes from, I
Really?
would assume. I could be talking out of my ass here, but, it felt like I like to think they were because it made me feel classy when I was wearing my sneakers, or it's just
Uh,
some dude
no,
named,
I
like,
think that
Jamie
that's
Brooks that came up with this shit and is
this
just
literally
riding the
says
wave.
Brooks Brothers and Brooks running shoes clash over some trademark infringement lawsuit. Yeah, no, they're like very different. One's a sports running shoe, and then
Well,
Brooks
you
Brothers
know
is just
what,
Brooks Brothers.
guys? I feel lied to because I made the assumption that I was coming from some sort of Brooks Brothers level of class with my sneakers, and that's false, okay?
No, I mean these are fancy running shoes. That is hilarious though.
They
Not
felt
to
fancy.
not to stunt on you, but I am a
I
avid
am.
follower of fashion and brands and stuff, and like those are
Yeah,
two completely unrelated brands.
they're unrelated brands, damn it. Well, that's okay because, the fanciness was in the mind,
You're
and
like
I
I'm wearing the
feel
wedding suit of running shoes.
that is what I felt like for the last several years. Regardless of the fanciness, it's a good shoe. They're very, very comfortable. They last pretty long, though I have learned over time, hey, get a new pair of shoes every year. Like just switch them up, because you don't want them shits going flat. You don't want like they'll degrade in all these ways that ultimately become harmful to you, that I didn't realize back in residency, like I had to pay attention to. And like I didn't buy like one new pair of clothing during residency. I was just wearing my old stuff, because I was like, where the fuck am I going? That I need to dress up or have new t-shirts or whatever, you know?
For sure. No, you're stressing me out, and I did Google how long can you wear Danskos for before getting a new pair. And it
What'd they
literally
say?
says across the internet, max for daily wear, and heavy use, which I would call an ENT resident heavy use,
Mhm.
max 12 months
Max.
should
Well,
yeah.
I would be very curious to hear what the numbers are from residents themselves who are strapped for cash and aren't thinking about things. You know what I mean? Because like, I can't have been the only one to wear dance coats for a long time. I mean, granted, I, am one of those people who if, I don't like throw out my t-shirts unless they start to have holes in them and someone starts to notice the holes and say, hey, don't wear holes in your clothes. So I know I'm a special case when it comes to stuff like this. But um let me be an example of what not to do. And please, like, get shoes that are comfy. Your body will hopefully not betray you at the tender age of, like, 34 or what have you. Stage of elderliness me and
Yeah,
Francis
no,
are at
and that
right now.
just really is a rule. It's a rule across the board. Like people, I,
Mhm.
I mean, runners know this, but you have to replace your running shoes again with like regular use. So I just, um,
Yeah, we're essentially, high performance athletes, and so take care of your feet, guys, for God's sakes.
and engage your core, because I was a leaner, like, I
Oh, I was
always
gonna
had
say
my
engage your core.
pelvic bone.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had my pelvic bone resting actually on the OR table 99% of the time, like, that's where it naturally hit, and so I was never standing up straight. I was leaning pelvic bone on the OR table, and
Ooh,
then
that
neck,
hurts.
well, yeah, not the
It seems
best,
like it
but
would hurt. Ooh, uh,
and
lean
then and
hooking a
then
pelvic
head,
bone on
yeah,
there.
scrunched
Yeah,
down,
head
looking
down.
straight down into the hole. So it's interesting that you mentioned like lower back pain because honestly, that's definitely never been my biggest problem. I'd say like cervical pain, just like
Mm,
upper neck, and it's because of I don't think it helped that tables were never the right height and things like that. So
yeah.
I came out with some very real chronic pain there that yeah, it didn't get better as an attending and now it's maybe, like, turned down in severity, but it isn't gone, so
Mhm,
I do think that when we're in your 20s, you just think, "I'm gonna live forever," and, like, I'm not gonna age, and nothing can ever happen to me or my body, but I definitely think a lot of us, find out differently in our 30s
mhm.
after training.
Yeah, you're not invincible, guys. Sadly, it feels that way. It's a magical time in your lives. But so that is our advice. Plus fashion, how much Francis May knows, how much Tony wishes he did. But tragically, I'm not as fancy as I thought. But we're going to go on to segment number 2. And this is a new segment. It's the year in review segment. So this is a segment in which we're going to give our rapid fire takes on stuff that happened this past year that we find interesting because Francis May, I got to thinking about it. And given, the trauma and self-reflection and ultimate self-actualization under duress that we've both undergone in our adult lives, and the fact that it's all culminated in us having super fulfilling and healthy spousal partnerships, I realized that we're actually like super qualified to give relationship advice. Like we do it to doctors all the time, but like honestly, we can do it to like anybody, right? Like because we're clearly at like the top 99% of adults as far as emotional maturity and general yappiness. That's why we're on the podcast. So I thought it would be fun to offer some quick fire advice to some of the folks who have turned to the internet this past year looking for relationship help. What are your thoughts? You think this would be really fun?
Yeah, absolutely, we're definitely high yappiness. We are yappers at our core.
Hardcore yappers, and we're confident yappers. So buckle up. Okay, so these are not medically related in the least, and that's how we like it. Okay, so here's first scenario. These are just quotes from people on the internet. This is a 28-year-old female. I'm getting married in 3 months. My fiance's sister has a very distinct nose. It's large. I've never said anything about it. However, for the wedding photos, I asked if she would be willing to learn how to contour it heavily, or if she would mind if I had the photographer Photoshop it slightly in the wide shots just to balance the group symmetry. My fiance is furious and says I'm body shaming her. I'm not asking her to get a nose job. I'm just asking for visual cohesion in the album I paid $5,000 for. Now the whole family is threatening to boycott. Am I the asshole? Francis May, I think there's a reasonable question. Is she the asshole here?
Think that this is a missing the forest for the trees type scenario. I
Okay, say
will
more.
say, I personally understand the importance of visual balance in a photo and maybe like cohesion that one would want. Fine. I mean, like, I feel like I understand that concept. I have an appreciation for that. Okay.
Mm,
Here's what I think is missing the point and like is crazy to me. You're not marrying this girl. It has pretty much
yes.
nothing to do with anything. Like, I'm just saying, even when I think to, and I'm looking at in the corner of my office, I have some like different wedding pictures of
Ain't
me
nobody
and my husband.
looking at, yeah.
Well, nobody
Continue.
else is in them, Tony. Like, that's the thing.
Mm.
I'm just saying, of the wedding photos of us in our house, and I know that some other families are different. I come from a really tiny family. Like, my wedding photos are me and Colin. So I get that maybe there are some big families out there where literally, like, in your foyer, it's the picture of 12 people. It's like the full lineup of the wedding. But I actually think that that's increasingly uncommon. And just at the end of the day, like, while sure, I'm like, you're going to be in a couple pictures with this girl who's attending your wedding. You just like don't have to ever do anything with those photos. They certainly don't need to be posted up in your house. You don't even have to add them to an online photo album. Like, that's what I would personally do. I definitely wouldn't be going out there messing with people's business. If I don't maybe like the visual balance of a photo, I'm not going to then use it for something else.
I just love the idea that someone's nose could offset the visual balance of a family photograph. Like, if she's like,
It
listen,
could though. It could
it
though.
could,
But I
I've
mean, you
never
don't have
seen
to do
something
it.
like that, especially in a family photograph, because if she's with the rest of her family,
Yeah, usually
she's
it
not
should
the only one
match.
with a big nose. Like, there's gradations of big nose in that family. She probably has the biggest or the hookiest or what have you. Like, come on,
No,
bro.
but
Like, there's no
that's what
way.
I mean. She just clearly, I feel like this person has a beef with that girl to like go out and then just be saying, "Hey, change
It's like,
these
hey, let
things,
me
fix
sit
these
you
things about
down
yourself."
and let me tell you about your nose one time.
Exactly. I don't think
Like
that
that.
they had a
She's wanted
strong
to say that shit for a
relationship
long
other
time. Yeah.
exactly. She has beef with her nose and like this she was like, "You know what? I'm going to pull the bride card. I'm going to pull the
This is the
wedding day
time.
card." So but like that's why
Uh-huh.
I'm just like this is not really anything cuz literally you could still have a lovely wedding day even if you don't agree with every nose in attendance. Like it's
Uh-huh.
literally fine. So
You better, you
so
better,
I
you better examine yourself, my
exactly.
friends,
Examine yourself and
because yeah, examine yourself, examine the beefs that you hold. Okay. If you got something really to say to the sister, say it to the sister. Okay. Because if the wedding went forward, you're gonna have to deal with this lady. So say what's on your mind.
exactly, exactly. No, I like that. And what I feel like you're hitting on is just this more like just be real. Like I literally think that you
Yeah.
can just go and just be like, I don't like your face. Like I don't like your nose, I don't like your features, I don't like your face. That is what it is at the end of the day. Don't hide behind. Don't hide
Don't hide
behind
behind
this
the nose.
bridezilla like you know how it
Mm-mm.
is. Like the visual again, I'm pretty
Don't hide
anal. I'm
behind the
like at the one
aesthetics.
extreme of like the aesthetic and the visual balancing of the photo. I actually now think this is just an elaborate cover of like, I've never liked you and have never liked
Mm-hmm.
your nose.
Yep. That's
So
real.
be straight.
Be straight, okay? Don't be yeah. Fuck that bridezilla shit. Like,
Yeah,
let's be honest here. Okay, I think we solved that. That was easy.
that
Um,
was easy.
all right, next one. Oh my god, this one. Okay, my husband, he's 30 years old, has a work wife named Sarah. I've always tried to be cool about it, but yesterday he came home wearing a hoodie I didn't recognize. He said he spilled coffee on his shirt, so Sarah gave him her hoodie to wear home. I asked for it so I could wash it and give it back. He got weirdly defensive and said, no, it smells like her detergent. She might be sensitive to ours. I'll just give it back dirty. He is currently sleeping in the hoodie. He says it's comfortable. I feel like I'm losing my mind. Am I the asshole for demanding he take off another woman's clothes?
Do you want to go first? Does this seem reasonable to you?
um, let's talk. You know, we're all about finding the reasonable on this podcast. I'm gonna tell this lady something. That's not his work wife. You might be the work wife. Like
Yeah.
that's his real wife that he's working
Yeah, yeah,
with.
yeah.
Cause that, exchanges of clothings and sleep. He come home with the audacity to sleep in your marital bed with this other woman's
Yeah,
clothes
don't
because
even
they
get me.
smell like her? Are you and he felt comfortable enough to tell you all this shit because apparently he thinks it's everything's just okay. You better let
Yeah,
him know
you're
it's
the
not
work
okay.
wife. Well
You are
said.
the work wife.
I guess I would put it this way, which is that if my husband tried to sleep in another girl's clothing, he would not get any sleep.
Oh shit. You
That
said I
man
don't
would never
he might not even wake up.
he would never know peace again. This is like I don't know what kind of rage bait question this is. It has made me very angry. Like my blood
Whoa.
pressure's up.
This is crazy. It's brazen. It's the disrespect is brazen here that this guy like, I mean, he's having 2 relationships, 2 intimate relationships. Here's a problem, okay? And this is something not to this extent, but this is a thing that I feel I had to learn as a dude that I didn't always know, is that, intimacy, emotional intimacy, um, is a relationship, okay? And, like, you can have this is something I've gotten into trouble with over the years, because, like, when I date people, I've had a lot of girls who are friends, right? And I had to be very careful with that because I didn't realize that when you are emotionally intimate with somebody else outside of the relationship you're in, that is cheating. That's cheating on the relationship. Even though you're not physically doing anything, maybe you never even think about doing physically anything. But the fact that, you are sharing, these intimate moments with somebody else, these intimate feel like this guy's sharing clothes. You can't be doing. Wasn't doing none of that. But in the real world sense, where this actually like non-extreme versions of this happen, it's very easy to not realize that you're 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 in an emotionally intimate relationship with someone that is not your girlfriend or your wife. Um, and you have to be able to step back and see that. That can be really difficult because you have been told, society has been telling you, like, cheating looks one way. You either cross this physical line or you don't. You know what I mean? And so until you do that, or if you don't do that, it's okay in your mind. Guess what? It's not okay. And you have to like recognize that. You look like your head's about to explode. So please go.
Yeah, the whole time I was, like, shaking my head just like boys will be boys. That's kind of the unofficial motto of social rounds is boys
Well,
will
I
be
mean, no,
boys,
boys, I think the motto should be boys have been boys,
and
but
they're
they should
trying
be
to
able to
learn
do
and
better.
evolve. Yeah,
Yeah, we
yeah.
trying to we trying to evolve.
I do feel like what's so funny too, because yes, you're I appreciate you sharing. I gotta validate what you're saying. I appreciate what you're sharing. We love to see it when men learn something
Okay.
obvious and then it
Okay,
gets into
alright,
their
go ahead.
noggin and
Uh-huh.
they act upon it. I think that that's great. What's funny is I have always known that there's something wrong with that. Like, I've always known maybe, like, some of the ethical questions raised by, like, that type of a structure, but what you may not know about me is that I was a very big believer in the roster system. I grew up in the, like, "he's just not that into you" era, which I think this is a quote from that book, which is, like, every woman and maybe Sex and the City also attributable to it's like every woman needs, like, 6 guys, like, 1
Mm.
guy to shop with, 1 guy to emotionally connect to have deep combos with, 1 guy just for physical intimacy, 1 guy just for etcetera, and, like, so forth, like, so that's kind of like a roster-based system. I feel like I was a very, young, impressionable kid, and I just, like, was like, "That's what the system's supposed to be." I knew that it raised ethical questions the whole time, but I was like, "I do not care, and the system works. No, I will not be part of a roster.
Well, you
Miss
won't be
me with
part of a
that."
roster, but you will have a roster.
But you can have a roster. Yeah, of
Oh, I
course.
see. Oh, I
This is what
see
I'm
I
talking
see how
about
that's
when,
fair.
like,
Uh-huh.
I said it raises ethical questions. I'm just sharing, and you can validate what I'm saying as I validated professionally, collegially what you
I'm
were
waiting for
saying,
you to
which
fully
is
give
that
me the full picture. Yeah, go ahead.
so, yeah, you have a roster, but also I do think, and rom-coms say this, and it is true, because, like, 10 years ago, I met Colin, and I got rid of the roster, and literally what that meant was getting rid of, like, a lot of male friendships. Like, to your point about you had these friendships over the years, it just sounds like maybe you didn't realize what you were doing with all these different girls. I'm just saying it is possible to even realize it and to say, to just go in eyes wide open and it works.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's very cool that you well, maybe cool is not the right word. No, fuck it. It was
That
cool.
you push
That, like,
gender norms like that. Well,
no, no,
Colin
no,
has
no. I
told me,
know. I think what I was gonna say is I think it's very cool that you knew early on, like, okay, like for me to have a fulfilling, life, you know, um, these are the buckets that I need a few different people to fill. I'm gonna find folks who fill them, and I'm gonna work with that. And if they, so here's my question, the folks on the roster, um, they didn't know they were on the roster, of course. Or did you
yeah, I
tell them
don't
like, "Hey,
no, I don't
listen,
know.
you're shopping. dude. Like, oh,
I
here, you're the body dude. You're the makeout dude. You're like you're go out to restaurants, dude. Like like they clearly didn't know that that was their role,
Probably
unless.
not. Although maybe in hindsight they'd be like, "Did we mostly just go out to restaurants together? I might have been restaurant guy." Like,
But did they
uh,
all think like they were the dude? They all thought they were just like they were
I
dating
mean,
you, or were they
no,
just like,
nobody from like the side roster would have been like, "Oh, we're in a relationship." I think that maybe could they have thought that there's a potential for a relationship? Oh, she's in a relationship. That's just one guy. I mean, I have no idea why they
mm,
hung around, but I will say I feel like it makes more sense to me now. Like a few years ago, I really remember, and it stuck with me because Colin said that I was the most toxic man he'd ever met. And I was like, wow, that's crazy. I was like, what could he mean by that? But I've been thinking about it for
yeah, yeah,
years,
yeah.
and now
Uh-huh.
I feel like I see more of what he did mean by that.
Yeah. No, I think, we're what we're saying is we're not very different, the two of us, in kind of how we've approached these things. But, whether you were doing it kind of clear-eyed and you were just like, well, I don't care. This works for me. And I was doing it like, not
Well,
clear-eyed. I
me?
was like, I
Yeah,
didn't
you're
like
like,
I was just
is
like
that
I was just like,
wrong?
oh, that's just my friend this. Oh, that's just my friend that. Oh, like there's no problems here. Like we never dated. Like they never wanted to date. There was no tension there. How do I don't know. But like yeah, I was willfully ignorant of, the dynamics that I was creating, all over town. And it took a very smart and no nonsense partner to be like, "Hey, knock that shit off." Because like you need to like realize like, "Hey, you're not a passenger in your life here. And like you are making all these things around you happen. You need to choose to do it better." And I think that's what it sounds like you probably had, moments like that as well. But
No, I think maybe women are just now I do think women are just better at this because I'm telling you, like when I made the shift, it was completely an internal process. Like I just truly I felt like things were different with Colin. I was at a point in my life where I wanted things to be different. So I was like, okay, so I'm not gonna sleep in this guy's bed anymore. Who's my friend
mhm,
when we go out and stuff like that. But I'm
mhm.
just saying, like, Colin didn't even have to say it because again, I knew what was going on the whole
You knew
time.
where
So
you were
I
doing
just
it,
like
yeah.
but I love that for you, and I do think a lot of men need, like, someone to show up in their life and maybe just, like, tell them.
I think so. I wish, I mean, they really shouldn't have to. But it's like I recognize, where I was coming from. Like I needed the kick in the ass, and I received it. And we're trying to give that kick to those who are listening right now. Whatever your gender, recognize the game going on around you or that you are creating and participating in, and don't fucking wear another woman's sweatshirt into your
I
bed.
mean, to your marital
That's
bed, that is
just
crazy. And
that is just bad. Like that I would even recognize that as a bad move in my worst days, So yeah, improve, guys, please. Last one. All right. So my boyfriend, who's 29, missed the birth of his niece, which he promised to drive me to because he was in a raid in his MMO, his massive multiplayer online game, that could not be paused. When I came home, furious, he told me I didn't understand the stakes. He said there were 39 other people relying on me to heal them. If I left, they all would have died. So I screamed, they're digital avatars. Your sister just had a human baby. And he looked me dead in the eye and said, you don't respect my leadership role. And I literally laughed in his face. He is now sulking in the guest room. And Francis May, as both of us gamers, I don't know if you played these big, massive multiplayer ones. I was never super into those. But this is the state of many folks out in the world. What are your thoughts on, I think, really the fact that he takes this leadership role so like really serious? This is a real world thing for him.
yes, immediate ick. Immediate ick. I have no innate beef with these multiplayer games. I just feel like it says a lot about him if like his experience as a leader is this. Also, I don't appreciate flakiness. It sounds like there was actually, like, some preset I don't appreciate that. Like,
Don't start the game. Don't start that game that
yeah,
day.
like,
You made a plan.
I have probably gamed 100 hours on my Switch 2 in the past 2 weeks, honestly. So, like, I get
Nice.
it. I like my game. Again, I'm single
Yeah.
player. I'm literally just farming and doing stuff with my coven. I'm a witch in the game. Like, I'm just having fun, and I'm logging crazy hours on the game, and I'm just saying I didn't miss any pre-existing responsibilities, appointments, like, so there is a balance, and we don't love to see a grown man who can't, like, keep appointments or keep promises. To me, like, and I don't care that the thing is, like, that I guess he had a niece born. Like, that's fine. I don't even think it matters that much what it is. Even if it was like we had a date, like, we had plans with other people. You didn't show
Yeah.
up to that because you had to quote unquote be a leader in your multi-world game. Like, I just don't think that's an okay excuse.
Yeah. Completely agree. Independent of, yeah, like you said, whether it's a niece being born or something else. Um, I've known a lot of people because, and I don't know if you've had this experience in your life. I've known a lot of people who have had to recognize that they've gamed far too much and they kind of like have this it kind of became an addiction to them in which they kind of started neglecting other parts of their lives, and they've had to step away from gaming for a long time and then like maybe dip their toes back in later.
Yeah.
I got a buddy right now who's a listener of the show, who kind of told me like this was kind of his journey, and he kind of like very delicately plays like Mario Kart now because he used
Mhm.
to like get totally obsessed with games. And I understand like recognizing that about yourself. That's challenging, that's difficult. I think that is not this. I think that this is a different situation. I think this is, like you said, like this isn't someone who can't step away, but this is someone who like feels like, okay, this world, this online world, these other people who I talk to in my headset, these are my real friends. This is my real community. Um, and they have priority over my real lived in, real breathing life. And this person has the power to say no to that, but just doesn't want to. And that's where the real ick for this is for me, I
Well,
think.
and yeah, what it says about them as a person. Like, again, clearly their identity is tied to their role in the game, and I do think
What's your
that
li you're a mage. You're a mage in the game. You gotta be there for healing spells, player. That's what you gotta be there for, my guy. Like you gotta be around to give that out so that y'all could defeat whatever orcs or whatever nerd shit is going on. That's where you learned about leadership.
it's like,
Learn about leadership in your house.
yeah, you could have been a leader in real life. You could have taken your girlfriend to the birth of your new niece, like, and,
Yeah.
been a leader in the family. Like, yeah,
Leader
it's
of the
just,
family guy. Like
yeah.
this is what, yeah. We feel we appropriately roll eyes at this person. And partner who wrote in about this, there must be something about this that you value and like, because this ain't the first time he's done this to you. So I don't know why now is the time that you're
Yeah,
getting
but
upset.
I would say run. I would say get out because,
Get
like,
out.
again, I don't think that, this is just fine. The niece, and it's like his niece, it's not even your niece. So
It's
this is
not
like a
your knee.
low
That was the
stakes
funny
thing.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like,
For
who
you,
cares?
this is
So
low stakes. Yeah.
this is a low stakes thing for him to, like, not show up for. But best wishes. Like, I would not want to get married to, start sharing bills with this person,
Mhm.
God forbid have a family with this person. Absolutely not. So get
Yeah,
out.
we know the reach of our podcast is growing by the day. If you hear this, I hope you do, because we I think we've done a pretty good job of giving real talk to any and all comers. I just thought that would be fun this week. There might be some doctors in these stories that we just told. Yeah, I know we get messy. So I hope that it was enjoyable to hear about the anonymous messiness out there in the world, and know that your former surgeon friends are here to lay it down, folks. And with that, another successful and legendary episode of Social Rounds comes to a close. Francis May, take us out.
If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, rate us 5 stars, leave us a review, and check out our website, hippocratic-collective.com, for more shows and content like this. Thanks again for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
Bye.